from this area. He's actually from Kalibishi, grew up in this area, and was a former principal of the Marigot Foundation High School back in the day, and worked to develop and to nurture young minds. He has been an educator for most of his life. Simeon continues to work to develop students, especially in the field of the arts, more specifically music. Simeon has a wealth of knowledge and experience in education. So let us all welcome to address us Mr. Simeon Joseph, Senior Program Officer in the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development.
A happy World Teachers' Day, everyone. When I was asked to do this presentation, I made it clear to DAT, Mr. Telemark, that I was hoping that I would not be invited as an officer from the Ministry of Education. And I made it clear to them that if I were to come, I'm only coming because I am from this area. Now, there is no doubt that Dominica is the best place to live in the world. But there is absolutely no doubt that the best place to live in Dominica is the Northeast. So, after today, I want to invite you to explore going to Sandy Bay in Marigot, Woodford Hill Beach, Turtle Beach, Red Rock, Point Baptist Beach, Hampstead Beach, Batibu Beach, Red Rock,
the Chocolate Factory,
Hodges River,
the Chocolate Factory,
and all the other places around here. And I'm sure you will leave agreeing with me that you have been to the best place in Dominica. Having said so, let me recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister for Education, Mr. Peter Seja. I want to acknowledge the presence of Dr. the Parliamentary Representative for Wesley, Mr. Ezekiel Basil, Dr. Jeffrey Bless, my challenger, someone who always encourages me to grow, to examine myself and reflect on who I am, and I appreciate him for that as my immediate supervisor. The president of the DAT, other DAT executive members, teachers, and I see some students here this morning. Good morning. I'm hoping that through my presentation, I will be able to offer you what I consider to be my reflections on the theme this morning: young teachers, the future of the profession. So bear with me. I want to begin by saying that in the raging debate over education and how to fix underperforming schools, the voices of our best teachers are seldom heard. If we really look around us, we'll find that some of our most accomplished classroom teachers and educators in the teaching profession can bring expert pedagogical know-how and fresh, provocative policy ideas to this debate. Together, they can assist in identifying the emergent realities that will shape the learning experience of children born in this millennium. In my limited interaction with teachers, I have found and often heard them echo the need to create schools that all students deserve today, tomorrow. Inherent in this cry is the call on policymakers and the public to work with teachers in creating a dynamic and flexible learning environment for students and teachers, and powerful new ways to define and measure school success. The need to transform public education through digital technologies while reinventing brick and mortar school buildings into 24/7 hubs of community support for students and families. I also heard them speak about reimagining teaching as a well-compensated career with many pathways, assuring that every child has qualified and effective teachers, that teaching expertise is constantly spread in and out cyberspace. I heard them speak about establishing a new leadership force of classroom experts who continue to teach students regularly, while also serving as teacher educators, policy researchers, community organizers, and trustees of their profession. This last call has been echoed by the DAT for quite a while now. With the progression into the learning curve, or the rote learning curve, teachers evolved into two broad categories. Those who consider teaching a 6 to 8 hour job, who stick to their job description, and who do a reasonably good job. And another category of teachers who believe that teaching is their way of contributing to national development. They like to teach and want to transform the society with their thoughts. They strongly align themselves with those who believe that the future of human generation is in the hands of teachers. Such teachers are exceptionally driven and self-motivated. They inspire children to dream big and create a long-lasting impression on their soul. Teaching is a unique and noble profession that requires one to invest the heart, soul, and mind into it. With digital and technological advances, a lot of learning processes is shifting towards online machines that provide only information but not knowledge. And information can make one literate but not educated. Therefore, teachers shall always stand irreplaceable by machines, because teaching is about building the future of a country by molding the thoughts and actions of the young generation who will contribute heavily to the economic development of a nation. For most individuals, teachers are not confined to the four walls of a school classroom. Instead, one can find teachers in their parents, siblings, friends, colleagues during college and professional life. In fact, every individual at some point in their life plays a role of being a teacher and influencing someone's life. Be it students in a school, children at home, friends or colleagues at work, and so on. So teaching is a lifelong process where a unique emotional connect develops between the teacher and the student, which cannot be understood but can only be felt by an individual. When one goes through the phase, however, we must avoid the situations where students and teachers are unable to build an emotional connect, and the entire focus lies on completing the syllabus and scoring high marks in an exam. Can we therefore launch a unique experiential learning-based model of providing a culturally different micro-environment that provides children the freedom to work on any problem of their interest, where teachers are empowered to design their own themes for hands-on problem solving, thereby enabling children towards learning the 21st century life skills of teamwork, analytical and critical thinking, problem solving, by following a learning by doing approach, and one that encourages children of different age groups to work together in teams to identify various problems and develop innovative solutions, leading to multidisciplinary and an integrated approach to learning. In other words, can we create schools which become an environment where being a teacher gives the power to connect with a variety of personas and to become an agent of change. What I am looking at is creating new perspectives and dimensions to education and teaching, into which young teachers entering the profession are able to find a new philosophy and a new paradigm where they can add new dimensions to the word teacher and go beyond conventional teaching to help young children to unleash their true potential and discover their true self. In other words, can we foster a new environment for what I term our Generation Y teachers? Too often, our focus is on the student and student learning and student outcomes and school achievements and standards without concurrently giving some due attention to our teachers, particularly our young teachers. This generation of teachers bring much to the table if we sometimes stop and ask, what do you need to teach effectively? I therefore propose that now is the time which should serve as a wake-up call for those who tend to simplify the problems facing the teaching profession, particularly our young teachers. Again, by interaction and observation of these young teachers, I have found that their needs are vastly different, and sometimes all they need are the following. 1, young teachers seek more frequent feedback on their teaching than their more veteran colleagues. But they also want more assistance from their peers, their principals, and their administrators. Young teachers want more time and opportunities to improve their practice through meaningful collaboration. Young teachers believe that their effectiveness cannot be accurately measured through test scores alone. Young teachers are enthusiastic about new networking technologies that can improve teaching and learning. The question therefore has to be, how can we help each talented young teacher to stay in the teaching profession as long as they are able to, or as long as some of their older teachers have been able to? How can we develop a vision that considers the needs of 21st century students and the new generation of teachers who will serve them? How can we invest in working conditions and policies that will help students and teachers succeed in meeting 21st century expectations? As we imagine a brighter future for Dominica's students and schools, I think we need to set some time aside to listen to the hopeful voices of our Generation Y teachers and to acknowledge the sincere efforts of teacher unions whose leaders are increasingly committed to making sure their voices are heard. I wonder what our surveys would say if we ask our young teachers how long they intend to stay in the profession or how many are considering quitting and why. In considering our young teachers, we need to ask, how does the workload affect their work-life balance? What are their mental health concerns? How do they feel about extended hours of work? How appealing is the teaching profession to them? Has their morale declined or increased since they started teaching? Are they satisfied and happy with the level of support that they have received? Do they feel undervalued and suffer poor management? Do they feel that in a typical week they have more briefings and meetings, more school detentions, and are often taken advantage of by the more senior teachers to do the more menial tasks that they themselves don't want to do. And lastly, can we not consider a unilateral across-the-board increase for teachers up to a decent level of livelihood? Woo-hoo! Still, in the midst of this milieu, I am obliged to make a case for teaching, and in the process, posit a case for making the profession desirable. First, enact change. The question remains, if teaching is a job people no longer want, how can we attract new teachers? The answer relies on two perspectives. First, how prospective teachers view the teaching profession, and second, how society at large views the teaching profession. If, as a society, we are to redefine what it means to be a teacher from both the inside, teachers themselves, and outside the rest of the population, then we can eliminate the cognitive dissonance that shapes our views of teachers as both honorable public servants and low-earning, professionally stagnant losers. To redefine what it means to be a teacher from the inside and out, we must pivot from viewing teaching as honorable to viewing teaching as desirable. When considering how to make teaching more desirable to young adults entering the workforce, the easy answer is to increase the size of the proverbial carrot stick and pay teachers more. Although paying teachers more would almost definitely encourage more people to join the teaching profession, the budgetary constraints of the public sector make this solution improbable and frankly unrealistic. Teaching in public schools is a public service, not a product by a private corporation. So the monetary rewards and incentives for teachers are significantly limited. However, if prospective teachers view the core value of the profession as the skills acquired while working as a teacher and the applicability of those skills to many careers rather than income, the desirability of teaching may substantially shift in a positive direction. Although the number of skills teachers develop throughout their time in the profession is vast, I have selected the skills that 260 major employers reported that they would like to have in the 21st century workforce, based on a survey conducted by the American and European Association of Colleges and Employers. The top 5 skills employers reported to desire most for the 21st century workforce are: 1, leadership; 2, ability to work as a team; 3, written communication skills; 4, problem-solving skills; and 5, verbal communication skills. If we attract new teachers with the skills they develop as a consequence of joining the profession, we need industry leaders outside of education to warm up to the idea that teachers are multi-talented professionals who have all the 21st century skills employers seek. If we can enact a societal shift in a way we view teachers from inside and outside the education world, the teaching profession can embody what its title suggests: that teaching is a profession performed by professionals. Thus, the ultimate goal is not to use teaching as a vehicle to join another profession, but rather it is to introduce the prospect that there is immense value to the skills you develop as a teacher, which far exceed the image of a low-income, loser, stuck in a 25-year monotonous career like a bank. If as a teacher, your skills are seen as applicable beyond your career, it removes the shackles of an honorable career and makes the career desirable. If teaching is seen as desirable, the profession will become more competitive and attract stronger talent. In turn, we will better serve our students, and teachers will finally join the professional class they have been ostracized from for so long. Teachers, allow me to address you directly in all your challenges. I urge you to be the best professional that you can be. The story is told that on 11th September 2001, when the Twin Towers were tumbling and people were running away from the fallen building to their safety, hundreds of firemen and policemen were running towards the building amidst the smoke and fumes and dust, calling out to people to run, run, run for your lives, run for your safety. While they, the security and safety personnel, were running into the building towards their own demise, some never to be found again. Why am I saying that? Today, I ask you, in what maybe appear to be a somewhat obscure and challenging profession, with its implicit dangers and perils, with its uncertainties and insecurities, now more than ever, to choose in which direction you will run. So allow me to offer some compassionate advice. Run. Run away from those who would encourage you to be late and unprepared. Run away from those who will set low standards in their dress, or who do not follow the protocols and procedures of their school or the education system. Run away from those who encourage procrastination and disrespect and lack of confidentiality in the profession. Run away from those who resist change and innovation and spread negativity. Run away from those who do not know how to be confidential and professional in school matters. Run from those who do not support school management and undermine school authority and who do not support their colleagues in school matters. Run from those who choose to behave unprofessionally in public or among their students. Run. Run instead towards those who inspire trust in their students and who are passionate and positive and enthusiastic about their work. Run towards those who take charge of their classrooms and also pride in the process and product and who take an interest in every child. Run towards those who keep up to date with their marking and grading of their students. Run towards those who are mentors to their students and put the safety of their students first and foremost and make the inclusion and consultation of parents their practice. Run towards those teachers who take responsibility for their students' results and can captivate their students' attention. Run towards those who keep abreast with education policies and legislation and also constantly seek new subject knowledge to share with their students. Run towards those who let excellence be their aim, who constantly seek improvement and set high standards and expectations for themselves and others. Yes, the education system may seem a bit opaque, uninviting, non-motivating, unpromising, sometimes depressing, frustrating, and yet without the necessary credit and positive appraisal that it deserves. I am still obliged to invite you to always demand more of yourself than what others demand of you. When we give of our best, we see our best results. It may not happen right away, but it is as sure as the sun will rise in the east each morning that we eventually will get the results that we desire if we keep going. Eventually, you will see measurable results and outcomes that mirror the work you put in. Compete and see your results. Compete with yourself and demand everything you can from your mind and your body and your soul that God gave you. You will start winning the small and large battles in life. You'll waste less and less energy on insignificant things that don't matter. Your victories will become your way of life. Lastly, I cannot leave without asking you and urging you to please take care of yourself. Remember, you are the future. Take care of yourselves. How many of us allow our tank of gas to run almost dry before we fill it up? We run around until it is almost empty before we fill it up. Simply because we avoid going to the gas station. Now, when we are done and we fill it up, we are happy that the tank is full. But there is something about that gap. The gap between empty and full that relates to our analogy of life. We realize we are running out of gas where we just can't take it anymore. Physically we are tired, emotionally we are drained, and if we don't do something to refuel, to recharge, to fill up our tank, we are going to end up somewhere stranded, run dry by the side of the road of life. So get to the point where you can fill up your tank and say, I have a full tank. I am ready to go on. So take care of yourselves. Learn to feel good about yourselves, with yourself, for yourself. If you don't trust me, no one else will. The government may not mind. The Ministry of Education, I'm not sure. Your school, probably. Your colleagues, some of them. Your students, most times. Their parents, few and far between. And the wider community, not sure if you can count on them either. So ensure that you keep your tanks full. Refuel your energies, your emotions, your intellect, your social life. That one body that God gave you that cannot be replaced. And above all, your spiritual foundation, which most times may be the only pillar that you have to lean on. And when all is said and done, every now and again, one Good Friday afternoon, when you are tired and drained, and once you have left your school and returned home, take a long drive. Take a fresh river or sea bath. Chill and relax. And when you return home, if luck provides, find that good bottle of whiskey or brandy. Or a cup of herbal tea. Seek out your best glass in the cabinet or your best mug in the cupboard. Pour yourself a good drink, lift it up, and say cheers to those who wish me well and dash those who don't. Happy Teachers Day.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. You do think that you did an excellent job on the topic this morning.